Hello and welcome to day 24 of the Table Topics 30-day challenge. Question number 1. Has your greatest fear ever come true? Hello fellow Toastmasters. Our greatest fears are some things that we just don't want to think about. We don't want them to come to pass. For me, one of my greatest fears was losing my dad. I used to have nightmares about his passing, and in these dreams I would grieve so hard that when I woke up I would actually have tears on my face. And of course I'd wake up, think and pray, God, please don't let that be for a long, long time. Let him be healthy. Then he got sick and the doctors couldn't figure out what was going on. And he was scheduled to have a test to figure out a little bit more what was happening and to see what they might do. And unfortunately, he ended up passing away very suddenly, very unexpected. And that was terrible. It was, at that point in my life, the hardest thing I'd ever gone through. And it took me about, a good 2 years before I was past it well enough that I would consider. And ever since then, I realized that people going through the same kind of loss, for them, that first year, it goes by so fast. So I always keep them on my prayer list for a year and keep them in my thoughts as they work through a hard situation themselves. Mr. Table Topics Master. 1 minute, 53 seconds. Question number 2. What is the difference between innocence and ignorance? Hello, fellow Toastmasters. Innocence and ignorance. For me, when I think about it, innocence is someone not knowing something. They haven't had enough life experience to understand how the world works or the way something works. Ignorance is, I feel like, you should know better. You're at a point in your life, you've had enough experience, and you should have at least a sense for something. And if you're ignorant of it, then you need to take some steps to learn more about it. Of course, the other kind of ignorant is someone holding a prejudiced view or a racist view. I consider that ignorant because you haven't looked fully at the other person. I loved what Ben Carson said. He's a brain surgeon. In addition to his political career, he was a brain surgeon and then went into politics. And he said that when he had someone on the table and was operating on them, he couldn't tell what color they were. He just knew there was this brain in front of him and it was a person. And I love that metaphor. I love that perspective. So that's what I have for you on this question, and I'm going to turn it back over to Mr. Table Topics Master. 1 minute, 40 seconds. Question number 3. Why do religions that advocate unity divide the human race? Hello, fellow Toastmasters. You know, there's a common myth that goes around that says religion has been responsible for more wars and more deaths than any other thing in human history. I'm here to tell you that that is a lie. If you will go into an older version of the Guinness Book of World Records, say 1982, and look under mass murder, I forget the exact topic, mass homicide, you will see that there have been deaths in the hundreds of millions attributed to institutional atheism. Stalin, Mao, Pol Pot, Mussolini, and others. Collectively, and then going back even further from them, it has been responsible for the deaths of at least 300 million people. Now, if you take something like Christianity, it's responsible for establishing more hospitals and schools and other institutions of charity than any other organization in the history of mankind. Madam Table Topics Master. 1 minute, 28 seconds. Question number 4. If you could relive yesterday, what would you do differently? Hello, fellow Toastmasters. Boy, when I heard that question, you ever have this experience? You start thinking, what did I do yesterday? I can't remember. And actually something came to mind. Last night, my daughter had planned to go to a homecoming game with one of her girl pals to go watch their team play. And I don't know, series of miscommunications, something happened, we get to the game to drop her off, and her friend is nowhere to be found. And so I end up buying a ticket for each of us and going with her and sitting in the game. And I wasn't prepared to do that. It was 59 degrees out and I had a thin hoodie on because I was just going to drop her off. And I think what I would do differently is I would have planned then, knowing that that was going to happen. I would have set up her expectations differently and gone to the game with her. I had some other stuff planned I needed to do after the game, and I wasn't planning on my evening being interrupted like that or being redirected like that. So I would have also gotten those activities done prior to that. So I could have really been more fully engaged with the game and in that experience with her. Mr. Table Topics Master. 1 minute, 31 seconds. Thanks.